Hi everybody, Wendy here, Lolly Dolly Crafts. Don't faint, I'm back and I'm doing a video. I've sat here for about half an hour wondering what actually I'm going to do, because I haven't crafted for, well, nearly a year, I would say now. There's been lots of things going on, lots of not too good things, a lot of things that I've had to deal with, you know, regarding, you know, private stuff, and health-wise. But I'm hoping that sort of, I'm still going through some health issues and I'm still having to have some scans on my liver and that, and I've got a problem with the prolapsed bladder, but I'm all under a really good doctor now. I've changed my doctor and she's on the ball, so that's really good. And also the blood pressure, I don't know if you'll notice, but the blood pressure medicine that I'm taking does make my voice a bit croaky and a bit deep. So if I do get a bit sort of croaky or it sounds like I've got a really deep voice, that's the reason why. Okay, so what I've decided to do, I got this little footstool from a car boot, and I've had it, I must have had it about 3 years now. So I'm just going to take the legs off because I want to paint them. Now this is going to go in my living room, so I want it to match the decor that I've got in my living room, which is sort of like a teal colour, so that's sort of the colour I'm going for. It's got these little staple pins in it here, so I'm going to get them out because I don't want them in there, and that way I can take off. I want the foam still on there because I'm going to add probably a doily or something to it. But they come off quite easy. I just pulled them and they come off. Probably reuse them, but I don't particularly want them. Didn't want them. So yeah, say they come off quite easy. If I use, let's have a look. There we go. A little help from a pair of scissors. So I've been doing some scrapbooking as well. I haven't filmed any of that because I've been going to crops to do them. But I'm really enjoying that. I never thought I would be a scrapbooker, but I actually quite like it. So yeah. Just get these out. So I know I've neglected, you know, people that I know, and I apologise for that. Unfortunately, the things that I had going on, you know, I'm not going to lie, it's been a really, really tough time for me, health-wise, and, you know, with sort of things going on with my ex, and also on the dating scene. You know, I had a bit of a traumatic, let's say traumatic, not very pleasant, I would say, experiences as far as sort of like online dating goes. And it does make you lose confidence, you know, when you get people who, you know, you're sort of like dating, but you get people you're trying to date to find, obviously, you know, because you don't want to be on your own and you want to, you know, there's no reason why. I might be 56 but I'm not dead. There's no reason why I can't, you know, find happiness for myself. But unfortunately, you know, I think the sort of like the people I've met or dated are dating for the wrong reasons, and there's been a lot of liars and, you know, people that have really not been very nice. Okay, so I'm going to take that off. Just put that on the floor. So look, so that's what we've got. So I'm not too worried about painting this bit. It's only the feet I want to paint, but this goes here. But I might glue that on there. So I've got to get these out the way. So I might just glue that on there actually, just to make sure it stays. Okay, so I'm just going to go and find some pretty material or doilies to go on top here, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay? So, okay, I've got a few, excuse my squeaky chair, bits and bobs. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue. I need to clean my glue then. I'm just going to glue this. Just so it stays. Okay, and I'm just going to glue this onto here. So it doesn't move around. There we go. Okay, excuse if you can hear the cars outside. I thought I live right on one of the main roads that leads to the school, so it's quite busy. Okay, so what I need to do now before I put any doilies or anything on it, or even decide what I'm going to put on it, is I need to cover this, because obviously I don't want this yellow showing through. So that's what I'm going to do, and I might have to double it up because this is still quite, you can still see the yellow through it. So I'm going to do it once, and then I'm going to cover it up again. I can trim off any bit I don't want, because no one's got to see it. Okay, I trim this bit first, that'll make it easier. So I'm going to try and make sure that I stay in shot when I'm filming. I know in some of my previous videos I sort of after a while tend to go out of shot, but sometimes I end up concentrating so much I forget that I'm filming. What's the best way to do it if I just do it that way? Yeah, I forget that I'm filming, so and I end up over concentrating. And then you guys can't see what I'm doing. But hey ho, I'm no Steven Spielberg. It is what it is. Or sometimes I end up going too quiet because I'm concentrating as well, or I stop just speaking. So I'll try to. So things are sort of getting back to normal for me. There's still, obviously, like I said, some ongoing issues, and I'm sort of having to deal with. But you know, I just seem to. It's quite bad, really. You end up feeling like a hypochondriac because I seem to swing from one sort of like, you know, illness to the next. I mean, but I think sometimes it's just either the nature of fibro or it is what it is. I've had my gallbladder taken out, but before I had it taken out, I was poorly a lot, and I keep getting reoccurrence of labyrinthitis, which is an inner ear infection, which infects like right in obviously inside your ear, and it causes vomiting and dizziness, like really bad, to the point where you can't stand up. I can't even open my eyes when I get it, and I've had it to the extent where I'm throwing up for 3 days. I've had it twice now. Once before I had my op, and I literally days before I had my op, I didn't think I was going to be able to have it, but and then once a couple of weeks ago, and it's a horrible feeling. It's like, you know, you're sort of drunk but without the fun. You know when you get that sort of dizzy, you know, feeling where the room spins. Well, it's like that, and it was so bad the time before I had it. I had to get the doctor out, and he had to give me an injection to stop me being sick, because I was literally, every time I couldn't open my eyes, every time I, you know, moved my head or anything, I was just throwing up. It was really bad. I've never felt so ill. I mean, I was in hospital with sepsis, and before I had my op, and I didn't feel half as ill with that as I did with the labrositis, believe me. Yeah, so that was not good. Did not like that. And at the moment I'm suffering with a really bad toothache. I'm going to the dentist Wednesday. Hopefully she'll sort it out for me. But yeah, so I'm suffering with that at the moment. And, you know, I'm agoraphobic anyway, so, you know, as you can imagine, going to the dentist is not, you know, the easiest thing for me to do. I've got a carer. She's what I call my safe person, who comes with me if I've got to go in where, like that, because if I don't have one, I end up not going because I struggle to go out. It's got, you know, it's that bad. But she's really good, bless her. Yeah, so you'd think, you know, we're being sort of stuck in the house all the time, I would craft, but no. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't gone out, because I have, but I do find it still, and it's not as bad as it was, I will say, and I'm on medication to help with the anxiety of it, but it, you know, I just don't know how somebody who used to, you know, manage people, who's, you know, used to teach, now all of a sudden I even like going, you know, speaking to people on the phone, I can't even do that. You know, so I've not been able to speak to anybody, you know, friends or whatever. You know, trying to stay in contact with people, because I've just, you know, and then sort of like you end up with like an avoidance thing, because it just sort of gets worse. So, because you know, sort of like, you know, you haven't sort of spoken to somebody for a long time, and you just think, oh. And you put it off and put it off, and to the point where you just, you know, and it's not because you're being awkward or, you know, you're ignoring somebody, it's just, you know, it's an illness and I can't help it. And it is what it is. Anyway, so, now, you can still see some of, it looks pretty pants at the moment. So, but don't worry, because it won't look pants by the time I finish with it. It will look gorgeous. Okay, it will look pretty. I have to be careful about the amount of what I put on the top of here, because obviously it's a footstool, so, you know, I don't want to you know, put too much on there and it, you know, catch your feet on it or whatever. Right, now, if I put this on, is it going to be noticeable? I was thinking of putting one on this side and one on that side, and then maybe I've got some that can go down the middle, because that can hide the join. And then I've got some of this turquoisey flower I could put on there. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I don't know, do I need to cover this again? Let's have a look. Otherwise I'm going to be here all day covering this, aren't I? Does it really matter? suppose it does. Oh, pain in the bum. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. I'm not worried about yet round there. Okay, so I've got some of this, and it's got sequins. It's very glittery. So what I'm going to do, some more for this side. And then that bit will go in the middle to cover that drawing, like so. So it'll be nice and blingy. Okay, so. Because I want these to hang down, these bits here. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is sort of find the middle-ish. And then just glue these down. I can trim off anything after. burn my fingers. Oops. Just trim this off. And glue it down. Right, so there we go. Once we've got that, so, and I'm going to put this in the middle here, which will just cover that join there. You won't see it. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, is add a tassel around the edge. I've got to make sure that whatever I add is not too long. So Yeah, so that's not too bad. So if I do that, okay, so I'll get it the right side. Is it all on the right side? Don't think there is. No. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Oops. Just doing that corner. It's fiddly to film, believe me. Trying to do it so this hides all the messy gubbins, as it's like all this here, so which is quite good. So I've been binge watching some TV shows. Sons of Anarchy I've finished watching. Peaky Blinders I've finished watching. Actually, that was really good. And so is Sons of Anarchy. Oh. The Client List, that was good. She's got an absolutely amazing singer's voice. I can't remember what's her name. The one who was in Ghost Whisperers and the Muppets. Was it Muppets Christmas Carol? I think. Can't be what her name is. But yeah, she's got a lovely voice, singing voice. Okay, so this is what we got so far. Right. I could add another layer to that, a different one, I think. What I could do. Let me just have a look. Right, okay. I've had to change my lighting because for some reason I had this huge, great big shadow, so I've put the lights behind me now. So, right, what I found is these strips of like bling. Now these were gifted to me by Fiona Jennings a while back, so thank you for those, Fiona. I'm just going to tidy this end up and just sort of glue it so it's sort of stay there. Yep, so I'm going to use these to because they're on a bit of ribbon, so I'm going to, they are in bit like strips and that, but that's fine, but I'm going to use these to, I thought that'd be quite nice if they sort of went around like that around the edge, because it's got like pearls and bling on it, so I thought that'd be quite nice. So I'm going to do that, so I'm going to start in this corner, I think, because then I can join the corners up together. Right, okay. So there we go. I need a light bulb above here because the light bulb's gone in here, and I've just ordered some, but I must have had the light bulb in my bedroom went. I don't know what's the matter with my electrics at the moment. Must be coming up for full moon or something. Yeah, so the light bulb in the my electrics keep blowing. I don't know why. I'll have to get it looked at if it keeps doing it. It's done it about 3 times this week, so there's obviously something tripping them. Okay, so that's quite nice. Just sort of finishes that edge off. Toby's gone round to his friend's house. That's cool. It just feels like it's me and Toby against the world at the moment. You know what I mean? But I don't know, it just, I don't get it, it just seems, I don't know. I don't like, as far as his dad goes, you know, I don't agree with some of the things he's done, but, you know, I wish him well, and if he's happy, he's great, but for some reason, he doesn't wish me the same well. Do you know what I mean? He's sort of like, and I don't get it. How can someone who, you know, you got married to, I've known for 30 years, you know, and someone who, you know, you've had 5 kids with, someone who, you know, was there when those kids were born and all through the, you know, I don't know, I don't get it. But anyway, it is what it is. I wouldn't mind if I'd done something for him to hate me for, but I haven't, that's the thing. That's the frustrating thing. You know. But, anyway. But there you go. It is what it is. But I just know, you know, my kids, I'll always be there for them, no matter how old they are, whether they're 60, you know, where I can. And that's, you know, we had the kids, They don't just sort of like stop being your kids just because they become adults. It don't, you know. Well, I don't think it does work like that anyway. I don't think it works like that. But anyway, so we've somewhat sorted it out as far as so, but it is definitely sort of his dad seeing Toby as and when it suits him, rather than, you know, on a regular basis for Toby, you know, to have a relationship with his dad. And he's not, you know, he's not going to get, he's already lost it with the other boys, and he's not going to get it back with Toby. And that's all I ever wanted him to have, was a relationship with him. But he was more bothered about the fact that, you know, going around telling everybody that, you know, I was being horrible to him and calling me a bitch and a slag, and a fat slag actually it was. But you know, and that was in front of Toby. Alright, he apologised to me for it afterwards, but it's damage is done, isn't it? You know. You know, I don't get it. And that's all because, you know what I mean, he didn't see why he should have to pay maintenance if he had a week off work. Well, I'm sorry, but Toby still eats. You know, if you don't work, it ain't my problem. You make provision for your bills when you're not working. You know, you don't go to your landlord and say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't pay you this week because I'm not working. You make provision for it. Anyway, that's been sorted now. So, I'm not saying anything on here that I haven't said to his face, so it's not like I'm talking behind his back or anything. So I just wish sometimes the people that think he's wonderful knew him, the real him. You know what I mean? Because he's very good at being the charmer to other people, so that they think he's all the best thing since sliced bread. And he can be. Do you know what I mean? He can be a charmer. And he can be not really nice when he wants to be. The people he cares about, he's really nice to. Do you know what I mean? But you know. I'm not part of that family anymore, so, and it looks like it would be, you know, because we're not together, neither are our kids. I'm no longer part of that family either. So, and it has taken me a while to get over the hurt. You know, I mean, of, you know, what's happened and everything. You know, when you're promised that, you know, because he's met somebody else, it won't affect, you know, the boys, and nothing will change, and I'll always be his best friend. It's not true, because that's what he told me, but it weren't true. It was all lies. Anyway, I'm not bitter. I'm not. I wish him well. You know what I mean? I'm just, it's like I said, it's the kids I feel bad for. But because they're, you know, I mean, you know, Toby's 14. You know, basically his dad's got one last chance with Toby, and Toby's told him that. That's it. That's one last chance. And if he, you know, says horrible stuff about me again and Toby finds out, Toby said that's it. Right, okay. So let's just stick this down. So, yes, my online dating. Well, what can I tell you? That's been an experience, I can tell you. Okay, so I've added that all the way round, that trim. Okay, so I'm going to make some bows for each corner or I might even make some tassels, I don't know yet. I might do bows and tassels. Okay, so now obviously this, I want to use this as a, you know, well, say I want to use it, I don't know. It's going in my living room, so I want it to match my living room sort of teal. Now this is a sort of a turquoisey colour, but let's see what we can do. Let's go with this thread, this blue. Yes, my online dating experience, well, what can I say? Okay. Let's start at the very beginning. As I was going to say Mary's Poppins, as Julie Andrews says in The Sound of Music. Okay. The very, very first date I had, the guy, well, he was late for a start off, which, you know, no biggie, he was late. I'm standing there, bearing in mind I suffer from agoraphobia, and this is no word of a lie. I had not been outside the house for 2 years, and that was one of the reasons why I started with the online dating, because I knew I needed to get out and, you know, meet people, and, you know, I didn't want to be on my own. I'm just looking for some bling to go in the middle here. Yeah, oh, there we go. I didn't want to be on my own. So I thought, well, you know, how does a person of my age, I'm 56, I don't go into pubs on my own. It's not something I do. Only because, you know, I'm just a bit old-fashioned, you know. If I was younger and I had a regular pub, I don't suppose it'd matter so much, but, you know, it's not something I do. Yeah, so, I'm going to, do I cut this up? I don't know. What do I do, folks? Do I cut it up? I could do and add some of the little ones on the corners. I might do that. Yeah, yeah, so walking into a pub on my own was a no-no. You know what it's like. You walk into a pub and everyone looks at you as if you've got like 3 heads. So I wasn't going to do that. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I joined this dating. Anyway, this guy, I met him. He was late. He said he was. Now I'm 5'4". He said he was 5'8", and I was taller than him. So I don't quite know what ruler or what he was measuring himself by, but he was no way was he 5'8". Just no way. Anyway, so we got to the bar, and he sort of like manoeuvred me to the bar, basically, so I could order the drinks. And I thought, okay, I don't mind, you know, buying my shout, buying my round, but I just thought, as a gentleman, it would have been nice if he'd have bought the first one. You know, just like I said, I'm a bit old-fashioned. So I was driving, so I only had a Coke. He had the same. You know, like I said, I was quite happy to, you know, buy my shout. It just made me laugh, and when it came to buying his round, he bought half for him and half for me, whereas we had a pint each before. So basically, I think the whole night must have cost him about, I don't know, £2 in tops. It's so funny. But anyway, so I didn't see him again. There was no what I call zing. I wasn't feeling it. Anyway, so the next date I had, the guy, I was talking to him for a while on WhatsApp, and he said, oh, would you like to meet for coffee in Costa? And I said, okay. So he said, oh, the only thing is, he said, I've just had an operation, been in hospital, just had an operation on my leg, so I can't drive. So I said, oh, right, okay, that's fine. So I said, right, okay. So he said, well, can you pick me up? So I said, yeah. He says, well, I said, well, just tell me what the address is and I'll come and pick up the address. And he said, well, I'll wait for you on the corner. So I thought, that was my first thinking, okay. So anyway, I picked him up and there he was. He got in my car and the first thing he did was like jump on me and shove his tongue down my throat. I was mortified. Yeah, it was quite embarrassing. We went and had coffee. All I wanted to do was like run away, but I didn't quite know how to, you know, because I picked him up and he was in my car. So anyway, so we went to Costa and he spent the whole time when we were in Costa trying to stick his tongue in my ear. You know, which I wasn't enjoying. I didn't particularly want him sticking his tongue in my ear. Yeah. So that wasn't too good. And then he didn't want me to drop him back off outside his house because he said he was staying with his sister for the moment. So I said okay, but he dropped me off. He got me to drop him off next to an alleyway, and I thought, you know what, you're married. I just had a gut feeling that he was married. Anyway, so I thought, you know, I didn't want to see him again anyway, so that was it. So I dropped him off and that was it. I just texted him and said, oh, you know, sorry, but thanks, but no thanks. Blocked him. And then, what happened? Oh yeah, then I met this guy that actually lived in the same village as me. And I really liked him. He seemed really nice. He was a gentleman. He was lovely. I felt, you know, I felt like there was a connect. I fancied him. That's the only way I can put it. You know, he sort of like, you know, made me feel nice. So I thought, oh, you know, this is good. And he walked me home and he gave me a kiss outside my house, and that was fine. And we arranged to go to the pictures, and we went to the pictures. That was fine. He was really nice, held my hand, blah blah blah. And then the following night, we arranged to go out for a drink, and he said he'd ring me, and I didn't hear nothing from him, and I didn't hear nothing from him for the whole weekend. I didn't hear nothing from the whole week, and I texted him because I said, are you okay? Do you know what I mean? Is everything all right? You know, if you're not interested, just let me know. But no, nothing. And then I think in the middle of the second week he decided to message me, and I said to him, well, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't heard nothing from you. I think you know, the way you've been is appalling. I said, the least you could have done was you know, said to me, look, you know, thanks but no thanks. You know, but not to just ignore me, you know, especially you know, after he sort of like seemed to be, you know, interested. So that was that, and it was a bit of a shame because, like I said, I did feel attracted to him, which was a shame. I just thought it was, you know, I don't know what. I suppose I was just wanting to know what it was that, you know, it seemed to be okay, and then I sort of like, I don't know. Anyway, so, and then I met this other guy. Obviously, there's space in between these. I'm not talking sort of like, you know, going out and meeting somebody, you know, every single night. You know, because so oh, actually I'm going to do a bow. Yeah, so this was in between, you know. I met this other guy. He seemed really nice. His name, oh, it doesn't matter, I won't tell you what his name is. Yeah, he seemed really nice. We met for a drink, and he bought me like a, what was it, a hot chocolate fudge brownie, and he seemed really nice, and he told me that he'd been separated, was still married but separated for 2 years, which is fine, do you know what I mean, and that he saw his girls, and you know what I mean, he had a good relationship with his kids, which I was, you know, that meant a lot to me, because obviously with not having that for my kids, I, you know, respected the fact that he, you know, made the effort. You know what I mean? That impressed me. As the song goes, that impressed me much. But yeah. And then all of a sudden, you know, we went out for a meal. We had a really lovely meal out, And then all of a sudden, he was sort of like, he couldn't see me during the day. No, he couldn't see me in the evenings anymore. Not during the day. He could only see me, yeah, during the day, not in the evenings. And it was, he said he was looking after his ill parents, who actually was in a care home in the village that I lived in. I'm just putting a bow on the corner here. And he said that, you know, his mum and dad needed constant 24-hour care. She'd had a fall, and do you know what I mean? And that he was having to make their tea every night, and if it wasn't him, it was his daughter, or it was his, you know, brother or whatever. Which is fine, you know what I mean? The thing was, is I live in a little village, being, you know, I knew people, and I just had the feeling that something, he sort of like said to me, oh, you know, that he couldn't see me at Christmas because he was going round to his ex-wife's house to cook Christmas dinner for him and for them and his kids, because his kids wanted him to. And I thought, right, you've been separated 2 years and you're going round. I don't know, I just thought it odd. I don't know. I just thought it was really odd. So, you know, that's when my gut feeling was telling me, something's not quite right there. So anyway, I did my own little bit of investigating, and it turns out his, well, I knew people that had relatives that lived in the same shelter housing that his parents lived in, funnily enough. So I said to her, well, look, can you do me a favour, just sort of find out how infirm are his parents and everything. Now, all right, they were very old, but you know, he, as far as he was saying, his mum couldn't even walk, and you know, and was, but you know, she's like toddling around the village and everything, so it was all rubbish. And that he was lying, that he wasn't going and looking after them in the evenings and all this lot. And basically, he told me he'd gone away for a stag do. And I'm thinking, well, if you can go to a stag do, which is for a whole weekend, how come you can't see me for a weekend? Do you know what I mean? You know, for even one night. So, yeah. And I just messaged him, and he said, what's the matter? He goes, normally you put kisses at the end of, you know, if I text or how you doing, I'd put just one kiss at the end of it. And I didn't put anything in. And I said, no, I said, I've, you know, I found out some, you know, some things, some lies. And he said, oh, what's that about me? And I said, well, lies that you've been telling. And he said, what? And I goes, well, it doesn't really matter. And now, I didn't want to say to him what the lies were. I knew what they were. He knew what they were. There was no way was I going to be going backwards and forwards. He said, you know, he said, she said sort of type of thing. I knew that for 100% that what he had told me was an out-and-out lie. 100% I knew that. Do you know what I mean? So there was no way was I going to... you know, I didn't want to be made to look like I was some sort of like bunny boiler, you know, so there was no way was I going to say, well, it was just all really childish, it was really silly. And I just said to him, it doesn't matter. And he said, well, how can I defend myself? And I said, well, you can't, basically. I said, because I know what you've said is total out lies. So, anyway, and as soon as I sort of, you know, he went straight on the defensive and you know, saying, oh, you know, I don't play games, blah, blah, blah. Ow, 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 ow. You know, he's saying, oh, I don't play games. And I thought, yeah, you do. You do play games. You know, and he always sort of said to me, oh, you know, I would never go and I would never hurt anybody, blah, blah, blah. Well, he's just a liar. You know, and what it was he was trying to get back with his ex. Because she'd actually, well, this is what he told me. She'd had an affair with with his best mate. Now, I think they were trying, you know, maybe they were trying to get back together. I don't know, and I think that because he couldn't see me because he was going around there in the evenings. Do you know what I mean? And see, the thing is, if he'd have just been honest with me and said, oh, look, you know, me and my ex-wife are going to give it another go, I would have said, yeah, fine. You know, I'd have respected him for that. But what he was doing was trying to keep me on the as sort of like a standby, just in case it didn't work out with his ex. That's what he was trying to do, which I thought was, you know, not a very nice thing to do. You know, I've got feelings. I'm a human being. So that was that, and that did really knock me for six. Sort of like, you know, with the sort of like the last one that, you know, who I really liked, and I'd seen this guy for about 3 weeks, and you know, everything seemed sort of like fine, and I thought, oh, you know, maybe we could sort of like, you know, share some things together. You know what I mean, like going out, or do you know what I mean, or just, you know, having a nice time. But it wasn't to be. So I think after the you know, this was sort of like the second time, my confidence had really been sort of like knocked, and I'm thinking, well, you know, with my ex, and you know, with you know, what was happening, I'm thinking, well, you know, why is it people are treating me as if I'm a bad person? You know, what is it about me that's, you know, making people think that it's okay to treat me like that? You know, what, you know, I don't know, it was just, so I did really, really struggle with my, you know, the going out, and again, oops, yes, I did struggle. So, ouch. Burnt myself then. Yes, so, and anyway, then, after that, the guy who I'd been, you know, that I liked, saw me on the dating site again, and messaged me and said to me, it was really nice, and he said to me, oh, you know, darling, he did actually, the day, he did message me once and said, I don't suppose the answer's going to be yes, would you like to go to the pictures? And I said to him, well, sorry, I'm seeing somebody. So I thought, well, you're not hanging around for you, sort of type thing. So so he said, all right, okay, good luck. So anyway, when he saw me on the dating site again, he messaged me and said, oh, you know, what happened, honey? I thought you were seeing somebody. And I sort of said, oh, yeah, I said, you know, he turned out to be, excuse me, another liar. And he said, oh, I'm really sorry. And sort of said, oh, you know, all you've ever got from me is I've only ever told the truth. And I thought, yeah, you might have told the truth, but you sort of treated me like a piece of shit, you know, like ignoring me. And anyway, so he explained to me, he said, look, you know, I was going through a rough time then. I didn't sort of give us a chance, sort of like 100%. You know, could we give it another go? So I thought, well, you know, okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So I said, yeah. And it was fine. I saw him for about 2 weeks. Everything was fine. In fact, I saw him over Christmas. I didn't see him Christmas evening, but I saw him Boxing Day and New Year, I think. Ow. Did I see him Christmas Day? I can't remember. I don't think I did. Anyway. So I, you know, it was going okay. Everything was fine. And then, all of a sudden, I was getting ignored again. And I'm thinking, what the bloody hell's going on? You know, I know he'd not been very well. He said he'd not been very well, and he was really tired. That's fine. But it doesn't take 2 minutes, do you know what I mean, just to sort of like, you know, send me a message or whatever. So, basically I just told him to get lost. I couldn't be doing with it. So, that was that. And you know what, he even had the gall actually to message me, was it a couple of weeks ago, actually, saying oh, if I get any deals on this muscle food side, would I give him the details? And he said, oh, I know I'm being cheeky, and so I just texted him and said, just you flipping are. Do you know what I mean? You don't treat me like that and expect me to, do you know what I mean? I thought, God. You know, why is it men sort of think it's okay to treat me like a piece of shit? Anyway, so that was that. I thought, right, after this, I'm going to try one last time. Bearing in mind there was obviously, you know, space in between these. Like I said, I'm not doing sort of like meeting people, you know, every night and sort of jumping straight into a relationship with them. I had some odd dates in between where there was, you know, nothing, you know, wasn't sort of my cup of tea. And then I thought, right, one last time, and then I was coming off the dating site because I'd had enough, basically. And yeah, it was doing my self-confidence was taking a real knock. So yeah, so I decided, right, one last time, you know, if I don't mean sort of like as an odd date, but I'm on about, you know, if I meet somebody and it goes wrong, then that was it. I was not gonna. So anyway, I met this guy, a really nice guy. We had a good laugh. We went out for a drink, went out for a meal. It lasted for nearly a month, and then all of a sudden he'd come to see me on his way home from work, and I knew something wasn't right. And I said to him, I said, oh, what's the matter? And he said, oh, nothing. And I said, oh, right, okay. And then I said, and I said to him, no, I said, something's wrong, I can tell. Do you know what I mean? Tell me what it is. And he said, oh, I'm not happy. And I said, oh, right, okay. And I said, what do you mean? I said, what with us? Yeah, and I said, oh, okay. I said, well, I said, I'm a bit confused. I said, because, you know, you were just the other day saying about how, you know, well we got on, and that you thought, and you know, it felt like we'd known each other for ages and all this blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, he said, and then I got, oh, it's the not you, it's me thing. And I thought, oh, God, you know, I'm 56 years old. I'm too old for this. It's not you, it's me. And I thought, oh, that don't mean nothing to me. So that was that. You know, he'd sort of like, and he left. He come back a bit later with a bunch of flowers, and I said, why have you brought me flowers? And he said, because you deserve them. And I said, well, so every time I stare at these flowers, then I hate being given flowers because someone's been horrible to me, or because they think, do you know what I mean, that, you know, looking at a bunch of flowers that's been given after a row or something, all that does is remind you of the row. Give me flowers when things are going good, not when things are horrible. Right, so I'm just going to show you that. So that's the, so I think I'm going to just, I can't really, can I? Because otherwise I'm not going to be able to, might add that flower there, I don't know. If I do it there and there. Yeah, you know, I don't want to be given flowers because you've been horrible to me, or you think, you know what I mean, that you've been horrible to me. You know, give me flowers when things are going good. Oh, so anyway, so I bought me this bunch of bloody tulips. I was thinking, oh my God. So anyway, and he said, oh, because I deserve them. And I thought, well, deserve them for what? You don't want to see me anymore, do you know what I mean? You just dumped me, for God's sake. Anyway, and he sort of said, oh, you know, I hope we don't fall out and that we can remain friends. So I thought, okay. Very confusing. So, anyway, and he's still texting me like he was, you know, when we were sort of like still seeing each other, and I was very confused indeed. So anyway, he said to me that he would come round Saturday just gone, and because he thought I needed an explanation to be told the truth, basically. Bearing in mind, in the meantime, he's moved back in with his ex-wife. Let's just add that in. But according to him, it's only because his stuff's all there and he didn't want her to sell it all and all this lot. You must think I'm fucking stupid. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Didn't mean to say that. You must think I'm stupid. So, anyway, so you come round on the Saturday and he said to me, basically, he's not very well and he's being tested for prostate cancer. And I said, right, okay. And he said that he thought it best to finish seeing me and that he does care about me a lot, but that he felt it wasn't fair on me that if he did have prostate cancer, that I would have to deal with that. And I said to him, but you've not even given me the choice to, you know what I mean? You've taken that choice away from me. And he said, well, yeah, I have. And I said, but that's not fair. I said, how do you know that I would, you know what I mean? You don't know for certain whether you have or not yet. You've ended a relationship which was, you know, early because you might have something, not because you definitely have. Do you know what I mean? And he says, well, I've not been very well and all this. And I said, yeah. I said, but I said, that's fine. But anyway, so... And I said, and thinking about it afterwards, I thought, well, actually, you must have known. He must have known that that there's something was going on when he started seeing me. So why did he start seeing me? Why get involved with me? You know what I mean? Before, when he knew. So I don't know. I just think. So, and basically, he was sort of like messaging me like, you know, we were best buddies and all this lot, still talking to me the way he was, saying, oh, you know, how lovely I was and all this. And I thought, do you know what? Nah. So, he messaged me last night. Oh, it calls me Princess, for God's sake. Which is fine, but and he's sort of saying, oh, you know, not like Princess, blah, blah, blah. I'm not being horrible. It's not that I want to be horrible. He said he didn't feel very well. It's not that I want to be horrible, but I don't, you know, stop taking the mick out of me. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to add this back there. You know, I've got feelings. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to put something on there. Oh, I don't know. It's just... really odd. So yeah, that was that basically. I need some of this bling. Just put it down each side of this. Yeah, so I don't know. So I've decided I've given up on the dating. You know, I do feel I'm not, it's not that I don't have a chip on my shoulder, it's not that. I do feel that it's not fair that my ex has walked away with no responsibilities whatsoever, do you know what I mean, into this new life. No responsibilities, no money worries, do you know what I mean? And I'm not bitter about it, it just angers me, the fact that, you know what I mean, it just makes me angry. And I don't want it to make me angry, but it does, because it's not fair. You know, why should he just because he's a bloke, walk away with no worries, no responsibilities, doesn't have to deal with the day-to-day stuff with the kids. Do you know what I mean? You know, or school or whatever. He's, you know, he's living the life of Riley. And it just irks me, I suppose. I don't suppose it should, but it does. Yeah. So it is what it is. Right, so I need to Yeah, I can't help it. I suppose if I was sort of like, you know, doing my own thing and whatever, you know, it wouldn't bother me so much because I wouldn't be thinking about him, but I just think I can't help it. Right, so there. I don't really know if there's a lot else I can do to that because, you know, I can't add anything on there. You know, I'm sort of like, I'm to deal with all these, you know, health issues or whatever, and, you know, and he's, you know, yeah, got with somebody who's like, you know, waited for their husband to die so she got all the money, and was seeing my ex, you know, while her husband was dying. Yeah, it's all very immorally wrong, but, you know, so of course she's got all the money now, and they're, you know, sort of laughing now. So, yeah. And he thinks he's a hero because he chucks me £40 a week. You know. I'll buy us a school blazer, if that. You know. But anyway, it is what it is. So, I think I'm going to leave that like that. Okay, because, so I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for my waffle, or my, okay, just wanted to do like a, anyway, so there we go. Hope you like my recovered stool. It's a bit hard to see. But yeah, it turned out okay. Well, I shall take that downstairs and put that in my living room. So there we go. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll do another project soon. I have got one that I did before Christmas that I haven't edited yet. I've just found the card actually. I couldn't find it. But yeah, I'll edit that one and put that up as well. And hopefully I'll be back again soon. So bye for now.